Athens is Romans, right?
No.
Monster in the Maze.
Monster in the Maze.
However,
The story of the Minotaur. What's that, buddy?
Minotaur.
Minotaur.
He has to risk his life because he's challenged.
Athens was quiet. People were waiting in the square. No one spoke, no one moved. Everyone was grim and sad. The lottery was about to begin. Every year, 14 children were chosen. They were sent to the island of Crete and locked in a maze of stone. In the maze was a monster, the Minotaur. Half man and half beast, it fed on human flesh. Hundreds of children had gone to Crete. None had returned. The old king of Athens took his place. The boys and girls of the city were led into the square. "Begin," he said. He had no choice. The king of Crete was powerful. He would destroy Athens if the children were not sent. The first boy reached into the tall jar before him. He drew out a black stone. He was safe. The first girl reached into the jar. Her stone was black too. She ran to her parents. The next boy reached into the jar. He fell to his knees. The stone was white. The boy's mother screamed and cried.
That's because the white means he'll probably be killed.
Well, he'll be sent to the labyrinth, the maze. Soon many parents were sobbing. 7 girls and 6 boys had picked white stones. The guards had taken them all away. 1 white stone was left. A young man pushed through the crowd. He was the king's son, Theseus. Theseus tipped over the jar. 1 white stone stood out among the black ones. "This is mine," he said. "Son," cried the king, "no!" Theseus stood before his father. "There is only one way to end the lottery," he said. "I must try to slay the Minotaur." The king could not...
Well, Daddy, even if he picks that white stone,
Yes?
he can still kind of cheat and kill the monster.
The king could not bear to lose his only son, yet he knew Theseus was right. "Go," he whispered. The ship from Athens sailed to Crete. The young captives were led off in chains. Theseus was first. He walked proudly. He showed no fear. The king of Crete stood watching. Beside him was his daughter. Her name was Ariadne. Long before, the king of Crete's only son had been killed in Athens. The lottery was the king's revenge. Every year he waited for the children from Athens, and every year he threw them to his monster. Ariadne watched the captives and felt only pity for them. Why did they have to die? They had done nothing wrong. Then Ariadne saw Theseus. He was tall and strong. His steady gray eyes looked into hers. Suddenly Ariadne knew what she must do. Late that night, Ariadne went to the prison. Theseus woke to see her. "Princess," he said, "why have you come here?" "To help you," said Ariadne. She gave him a dagger. It was so bright and sharp it seemed alive. "Use this to fight the Minotaur," she said. Then she gave Theseus a spool of thread. "Tie one end to the doorpost of the maze. Unwind the spool as you go. After you kill the monster, follow the thread. It will lead you to safety." Theseus touched Ariadne's hand. "If I kill the Minotaur, I will be king of Athens one day. Come with me and be my queen." For the first time, Ariadne smiled. "I will pray for you," she said. The next day, the captives...
Not too scary.
As scary as it could be. Next day, the captives were led to the maze. Very good.
You tried the monster and his eyes.
Hold on a second, buddy.
His human feet sobbing.
Okay. Deep inside, the monster waited. His eyes gleamed. His human feet, caked with dust and blood, pawed the ground. The sound of young voices came to him through the darkness. He roared. He had been waiting a long time. Now his wait was over. When they heard the harsh bellow, the children clung to one another. "Wait here for me," said Theseus. He tied Ariadne's
Those
thread.
skulls are the home of the devil.
Oh, the monster. He tied Ariadne's thread to the doorpost. Then he set out.
Look at all those skulls.
Look at all those
and
skulls.
bones.
The maze was a
Crazy.
dark stone puzzle. Its high walls snaked this way and that. Theseus felt his way through it. Little by little, he unwound the thread. The Minotaur roared again. Theseus froze. "It smells me," he thought. He forced himself toward the monster. Now he could hear it panting. He thought of brave, dark-eyed Ariadne. He thought of all the children who had died. He drew his dagger. Theseus turned a corner. There it was, the Minotaur. It was huge. It reared up, ready to strike. But Theseus was ready. He ran at the monster, dodging its deadly horns. The monster tried to crush Theseus against a wall. Theseus stabbed it again and again. It fell, screaming. Then its pounding heart was still. Theseus felt for the thread. It was unbroken. He followed it through the maze. At last he found the children. They cried out when they saw him. Theseus held up the dagger and the spool. "These have saved us," he said. "The Minotaur is dead." Theseus and the others ran from the maze. A pale moon lit their way. Ariadne was waiting at the ship. "Will you come with us?" asked Theseus. "I will," she said.
Yeah.
Together they sailed
I will.
into the night. There's the will right here. The next morning, word came to the king of Crete. The Minotaur was dead. The king wept. He had lost his son. He had lost his daughter. He had even lost his monster. Theseus returned home a hero. Never again were the children of Athens sent to Crete to die. And the maze, over the years, it crumbled into the dust. Now all that remains is this story.
Why did he also get a white stone?
He took the white stone on purpose
Why?
because he wanted to kill the monster, so that no more kitties would have to die.
Oh. But some kitties died.
Some kitties did, yes.
Yeah, why were they sent to if that guy had big sharp claws and all they had were fists?
That's another question.